Right. Right. Okay, so one last vacation review. I don't have the 2015 film. Eventually, maybe down the road, I'll get it. But today, welcome. Yo, it's me. It's the SCOTT. And welcome to Throwback Thursdays. But today we are talking about Vegas Vacation. Alright, this came out in 1997. Mind you, the last vacation film came out in 1989. That was Christmas Vacation. So this is the fourth film in the franchise. Let me tell you, I think I enjoyed this one a little bit more than I did European Vacation. Just because the slapstick in this was a little bit less predictable than it was in European Vacation. And it earns points right away by starting off with a different song than the last two, with Good Vibrations by the Beach Boys playing. And I'm like, yes, that song, it's gone. And then they do a callback to the first film where the lady in the convertible, Christy Brinkley, shows up. And they play the song. Yep, sitting there watching it, and they start, after the gambling stuff at the beginning of the film, they get in the car and they go to see Cousin Eddie. And on the way there, I start to hear, dun it. I'm like, no. And yes, they start playing the song again. Holiday Road. Holiday. I'm like, is there a requisite? It wasn't in Christmas Vacation. I know that. It's a prerequisite. It's got to be in almost all the vacation movies. It's like, I figured, it wasn't a Christmas Vacation, so they stopped using it. Oh, so there again. The main reason for it's not a Christmas Vacation is that they don't actually go anywhere for the Christmas Vacation, so maybe that's why. But, yeah. Another thing that's a positive for me is Cousin Eddie. Look, Cousin Eddie makes the movie better for me. He was good in the first one, he was good in Christmas Vacation, he was good in this one. He wasn't in European Vacation, and I think that's why it brought it down for me. I love Cousin Eddie. Randy Quaid is awesome in the role, and they kind of call back to the first one. The only thing I have a problem with is that the ages of the kid characters. Now, it's very confusing because in the first one we're shown that Eddie and Catherine have a whole bunch of kids, and I see Mary Ellen here. I don't know, Catherine, whatever. Have a whole bunch of kids, and then in Christmas Vacation they only have two with them. They talk about the other kids aren't there, but the two, and then the other back's having a whole bunch of kids, and they're living in a desert in a place where they used to do nuclear bomb testings. You can't make this shit up. Oh, and they live there because Cousin Eddie is dangerous, I guess. But yeah, and we're introduced to the character of Vicky, who's in the first film, which I didn't really mention, is that she kind of got Audrey to do to smoke the weed. And here it's very obvious that Vicky's supposed to be this bad influence on the character of Audrey. Now, one thing that got me is, okay, so I figured since this film came out in 1997, it was just going to be Clark and Ellen because the kids would have been all grown up and off doing their own thing by this point. Nope. Apparently, they're still teenagers. Even though that makes no sense because Rusty was a teenager in the first film. And that was 1983. And then he was like 12. He was still a teenager in the second one, and he was like 12 in the Christmas Vacation, and Audrey was older. And here, I think they're going for Audrey was older again, but the actress is older, I guess. I had to do math. I'm not good at math. There's a whole thing about how they can't gamble because they're underage. I'm like, so I looked it up. The actress who plays Audrey in this movie was 23 years old. 22, 23, whatever. She was legal age to do this stuff. The actor Ethan Embry, who plays Rusty, was 19. So that worked. But they're treating them like they're still like early teenage. And I don't get it. I think maybe I understand that this whole franchise is about the family, the Griswold family. But when there's like a running gag where they keep switching the actors out. And that the reason is because the actors get older. And to be honest, I think it probably would have worked better if it was just Clark and Ellen. Now, there was some other stuff that they did with the kids in here that worked all right, but I just thought it didn't make sense that the kids were still along for the ride. They should have been in their 20s by now. It's just confusing when you try to follow the 2015 vacation. You got a 40-something-year-old at Helms playing Rusty Griswold when the character of Rusty, according to this, should be in his early 30s. In 2015, according to the way this thing worked, they were teenagers for apparently from 1983 to 1997, which doesn't make any sense. And for them trying to say that maybe age isn't a thing, you could tell that that's not going to work because Chevy Chase is getting older, and you can tell in this movie he's getting older. They even do a gag with Christy Brinkley's character, like I said, when they play the song and music and as they're driving, he's like, "Do you remember me?" And she's like, "Yes." And then they show a baby in the back seat. Is that supposed to imply that it's his baby? Because it makes no sense. One, the first movie happened in 1983. That baby would be like 14, 13 years old. Two, they never had sex. So I think that was just a visual gag saying, oh, she has a baby now, so things have changed. But with the length of time, she should have like 2 kids, at least, in that car. I don't know. Okay, the gags. The gags here are a little bit better. There's one sequence that I had to rewind because I came in here to start setting things up. And then I heard like some noise out there and the screaming. I'm like, because it was quiet. So I'm like, okay, it's quiet, nothing's going on. They start taking this tour of a dam. And I ran in here because this one made me do a face palm. They do a gag based on the word dam. Welcome to the dam tour. Do you have any damn questions? And, that could be funny. And then you have Clark making, do you have any damn? I don't know. Eddie apparently thinks he can go fishing in the dam. And then Clark gets lost on the tour. He gets separated because he's messing with these rocks, this rock wall, or whatever, and it starts to leak, so he starts filling up with bubble gum, and it makes a bubble. That's not possible. And then he gets lost. So he starts trying to find his way out, and he gets down like he opens a door, and why would you have this door? A door that just opens in the middle of the dam into nothing. Into the dam. Just in the middle. Just why would you have a door that does that? It makes no sense. Who makes a door that opens into nothing? I understand they've been using that kind of visual gag in movies for years, but it makes no sense whatsoever for there to be a door in the middle of the dam that just opens into nothing. Wide open space where you can just fall into the dam. And it doesn't get in, and it doesn't stop here. He realizes and he shuts it and he goes another way. And he goes up and he decides he's going to climb this ladder so he can get to his family. So he climbs the ladder and he's up on this wire. And one, it's a dam. And they show there's electricity coming out of it. He should be electrocuted by those wires. I'm sorry. But he should be. But instead, the wire breaks. He goes swinging to the other side of the dam. And he's holding onto the dam. And they hear him this time. They're like, oh, Clark. And he's like, I'll be right up, honey. I'm like, okay. The joke is that nothing ever bothers Clark. That's it. He's supposed to be the straight funny man like Leslie Nielsen. I'll be right up, honey. And I'm sitting there going, just kill him off. There's no way he can climb up there. Just kill him off. Have him fall, die. Or he can be the joke that he falls and then only gets a minor sprain or something. Because it's Clark Griswold. But no, they actually have him climb up the side of the dam. I'm like, how do you... There's no way he could have done that. There's no way. There's a few holes in the thing, but no. And I was just waiting for it to be like, so he's going to make a big old hole in the dam. It's going to flood. Nope, nothing. Nothing like that. Just... One thing I did not like about this movie is that they portray Clark that all he wants to do in Vegas is gamble. To the point where they have him at a family dinner with his family, and he gets up, says he's going to the bathroom, but then goes into the casino to gamble and then comes right back. There's a gag where he's competing against Wallace Shawn, who is a card dealer at a blackjack table. And they do a joke where he can't win a game against him because it's rigged, because it's Vegas. And he just keeps on going. And then they show him at the table when someone else is the card dealer and he's winning. And then he's like, oh, you're my good luck charm. She goes, well, good luck. And she leaves and Wallace Shawn comes back and he loses all the money that he makes because it's a setup. And he just keeps gambling to the point that by the end of the film, he has gambled away $23,000 of their money. And he brings Eddie along for his little adventure. There's a gag where apparently Ellen is trying to cheat on Clark with Wayne Newton. But then she doesn't want to kiss him because she still loves Clark. And then why are you trying to sneak around with Wayne Newton? Because there is a part in the movie where she tells Clark she's going to go to bed. And she has dinner with Wayne Newton in the middle of the freaking casino. And this is really on a night where everybody goes where they say they're not supposed to. Clark goes to gamble. I think Eddie's with him. Yeah, because he points it out. Ellen has dinner with Wayne Newton. Audrey decides to go and dance on, I don't know, billboards or something with Vicky. And Rusty gets a fake ID from the peanut butter on my penis guy from Halloween. Yes, he's impersonating Frank Sinatra here. And he's also RT, the strongest man in the world. Anyway, he gets a fake ID first, and he brings it in, and it's a black guy on the picture. So then he goes out, and he yells at the guy for giving him the wrong one. He goes, oh, okay, here. He takes the thing that he has over his head, and it has a fake ID picture. And he takes the picture right there on the strip, and somehow this fake ID gets him in everywhere. His name is Mr. Papadillo. He wins 4 cars from the slot machine, and that comes back. Because they do this thing where he goes over, he puts a quarter, which he says dollar letter, but he puts a quarter in the machine, pulls it down, he wins a car. Yeah, that's a plot hole thing in there. Because he puts it says 25 cents win a car. He puts a car in. He puts a quarter in and he wins the car. But at the end, he says he has 4 cars. And he says, I put $1 in, I won a car. I put $1 in, I won a car. No, it's 25 cents you won the first car. I'm like, this has to be a gag, right? Like it's a setup thing. Like it's just a fake. But no, by the end of the film, he has won 4 cars. And I have a problem with that, but we'll get to it. We'll get to it. So the movie takes a turn when Clark brings the family together and he says that they should have a day to themselves. So they do. And they're all enjoying themselves on the deck. Even this night before, this really confused me is that, the kids weren't in their room. So he's knocking on the door. He's like, Rusty, Audrey, Russ. And she's like, well, let him sleep, Clark. And then Ellen's trying to seduce him. And he's too busy trying to learn Baccarat. And they do a joke, which I kind of thought was funny. He's like, in for 6 or 6 out or something like that. Like 6 inches. And then he's like, hit me. And then you hear like a slap motion, like she smacked him. I'm just like, okay, sure. And then the next morning, the other two walk in. The kids walk in and they say, he's like, well, we have it's a day to ourselves. And everyone takes off. And despite the fact that they all have a good time on their own, because Rusty is Mr. Papadillo, doing stuff, going to meetings, having, and then Audrey's hanging out with Vicky, and she gets like a slutty dress, and then Ellen is back with Wayne Newton, and she turns him down because she wants to be with Clark. Because the whole thing about this whole Vegas thing is they came to renew their vows, right? And then once they, come back together, they get in an argument because all Clark's been doing is gambling, and they break apart. And then so Clark's with Eddie, so they hijack a bus and crash into Wayne Newton's house so he can prove his love to Ellen. And then they decide to go on a quest to collect the kids. Rusty is Mr. Papadillo at a party where, because he tells someone, he throws a picture, hey, have you seen this guy? And you go, oh, Mr. Papadillo, yeah, he's a, that's my son. They're like, oh. Like, so then they show up looking for him. Like, looking for Mr. Papadillo. We're looking for an underage kid. His name is Papadillo. Have you seen him? And because Rusty's face is covered by the shirt he's putting on, they're like, yeah, he stole my wallet. He went that way. And so they run off. And then they go to fight Audrey, who is at a strip club. In the most toned down strip club I've seen, because it's PG-13. And this is 1997 PG-13. It's not European Vacation PG-13 where I can still show titties. No, this is 1997 PG-13 where now everything's watered down. So it's not as... And I have to question this. In a movie called Vegas Vacation, wouldn't you try to aim for a rated R film? It's Vegas. I wouldn't want to do a movie in Vegas if it wasn't rated R. You know what I mean? I'm not saying this is bad. I think this is better than European Vacation. But I think that a movie that takes place in Vegas should be rated R due to it's Vegas. Booze, women, gambling. That's Vegas. It should be rated R. You know what I mean? But anyway... So Audrey's in one of the cages dancing. And they make a big deal about how Vicky is one of the best dancers. And they show that she does a little dancing move earlier in the film. But when they go into the strip club, she's standing there going... Just... That's it. That's it. She's showing us earlier she could do the dance thing. Eddie showed her, apparently. There's a subplot where Clark goes digging in Eddie's yard for money. And then they go to, this is before this part, but they go to a cheap-ass casino where they have cheap games like guess what number I'm thinking of. Or pick a number between 1 and 10. Or which hand is it? Or, rock, paper, scissors. Cheap-ass stuff. Stuff that's easy to literally... especially 1 through 10. I'm like, you're never going to win a guess number between 1 and 10 game. You're never going to win because they can switch the number. Likewise with the which hand is it in, they can switch behind their backs. He calls that out. I'm like, that's a stupid... No, you're never going to win that. So anyway, here's the thing though. After he crashes the bus, Eddie's kind of left behind because then they take the bus. After he crashes the bus in Wayne Newton's house, he gets Ellen back. He and Ellen take the bus and go back to the casino, and Eddie's not there. I'm like, what happened to Eddie? Did they just leave Wayne Newton's house? He shows up at the end, but then they get Audrey and they get out. They have a big old family hug for some reason, and then they decide to get money. They need money after Colt reveals that he lost $23,000. So they go to this thing, Zeno or Mino, whatever it's called, and they got to pick 10 numbers, and they pick Clark's old football number, Rusty and Audrey's birthdays, and other numbers. And sitting next to them is the late great Sid Caesar. May he rest in peace. His part in this, He's apparently the loneliest man in the world. And he's sitting there and he says, it's not about the money. You know, it's about family. And Clark's like, well, consider yourself part of the family. He's like, oh, thank you. And then they lose horribly. They get one number and they lose horribly. But Sid Caesar wins. And then he dies. But he's not really dead. They do this gag where he... and then he wakes back up. And he whispers something to Clark. And then he dies again. And they do this long thing where he's going... They take a couple minutes for them to talk like this. And he dies again. And they go... And Ellen's like, what did he say? And he goes, I think he said take the ticket. He said take the ticket? Because he had the winning ticket. And then Sid Caesar's like... It's like... And then because they called the hospital or something, they get there and they go, he's dead. I go, who was he? He's like, the loneliest man in the world. He just wanted someone to talk to. I'm like, wait. We know he's faking. How can you go... He's dead. We know he's faking. We know he's faking this. How are they in on it? We let them believe this is real. They believe he's dead. And then they do a gag where this force sweep was coming towards the ticket. And he just kind of looks at the ticket. I'm like, take the ticket. What are you doing? And he puts his foot on it, moves it out of the way. Like, they probably should have got the ticket earlier. I know it's a gag. Is he going to let it go? Is he going to take the money? Of course he's going to take the money. He pays Eddie back. They have their re-wedding. And then he pays Eddie back. And there's a gag where Eddie and Catherine are crying at the wedding. I don't know. And then they say goodbye. And then they show that the thing with Eddie has 4 cars. And they all get in the cars and they drive. One problem. They wouldn't be able to take those cars. Because they are looking for Papa Dio. His name are all over that car. Those cars. There's no way that they're going to be able to get out of Vegas with those cars. They are registered to Papa Dio. So if they're looking for Papa Dio as an underage person, those cars are not what you want to take. The police would pull you over and to say, oh, their license plate is registered to Papa Dio. It's an underage kid that they're looking for in Vegas. We got to take you in. They'll get arrested. I was expecting this movie to keep going. I'm like, oh, they're going to get arrested and they'll end up in jail and that's how it's going to end. No, they just drive off, all 4 cars. Do they all have driver's license? Because I know maybe Clark and Ellen. One of the movies had one of the kids talking about a driver's test. I think it was Rusty in the first one. I don't remember. But they all just drive off. And that's how it ends. Like I said, I like this better than European Vacation, but it's not a good movie. No. It's more cheesiness, and I can, this had mostly negative reviews to it. I don't understand why people like the second one, but I did enjoy it better. It wasn't as obvious, I guess is the word. Like, the gags weren't as obvious. Oh, they're going to do this. Oh, they're going to do that. I wasn't constantly calling out what was going to happen before it happened. So, in a way, I do like this one better. And yeah, now I'm done with the Vegas Vacation. I got to give it a rating. Give it a 7. It was decent. So I'm done with the Vacation series right now until I get the 2015 version. So, next is Batman, and I'll do that. So, what I want you all to do Well, I want to know what your thoughts on Vegas vacation are. Let me know in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe. I've been Scotty. See you in the next one.